Matt, it's market vitals, the levels we need to triage the market. We're bringing in a little Don home because I am short for the mainland. Heading to the Wisconsin in the middle of the Pacific, man. Wisconsin in the middle of the Pacific, Kauai.
Wisconsin.
Kauai is a big farm in the middle of the Pacific. Very nice.
There's some nice wild boar on that island when you're
up. Yeah, and the chickens, the chickens are, it's crazy. The chickens, they had a giant cockfighting thing there in Kauai, Matt. I don't know if you know the history of why there's so many chickens running around Kauai.
No, I don't.
Yeah, they had this giant cockfighting syndicate, I think we could call it, a syndicate. And a hurricane came through and pretty much set them all free. And so, I mean, they're gorgeous. They're gorgeous birds. They're a little physical when it comes to their foreplay. Which can get disturbing on the pool deck. Like, wow, I'm pretty sure that's not fair. What's going on there, Matt? Speaking of not fair, let me share. First thing I want to share is I forgot yesterday to share this because we were talking about how soft athletes are today, right? As we mentioned that Jordan in his last year would lead the league in minutes played if he was playing this year. I still can't, I still find that hard to fathom. It's just basically what it tells me is he could probably come back and still play.
Yeah. I mean, just like Tom Brady, he won one at 45 or whatever. Why can't he keep playing? I think 40-year-olds are 55-year-olds, 10, 20 years ago. So
right. So anyway, Matt, I put in the Night Cafe AI engine. Today's athletes are soft. And this is what the AI engine gave me. And I thought it was interesting. This one, not so much, but this one, like I didn't put into the AI engine, today's athletes got vaccinated because that guy looks like he's having a little trouble on the track.
Well, so did the couple down there.
This one not, and this one too.
Looks like they're having some myocarditis.
There's something wrong with the AI engine. I don't know. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was very interesting. Now let's go to my likes right away, Matt. A little tip from Manja TV. You cook all 6 sides of your fat ass pork chops or steaks. Remember that. See this searing right here on the fat ass side of it?
Yeah.
That's how you do it, baby. That's how you do it.
Cook that fat.
And not only this, Twitter delivers today. Flat Earth is so outdated. Hot dog Earth is the new thing.
Sausage.
We talk hot dogs all the time. Put some relish on that son-bitch, and I'm gonna eat it. I'm gonna eat it.
Jim Rose Side Circus. Wow, I didn't know he was still around. Did you ever see those guys like back in the 80s? This Jim Rose Side Circus.
I don't think I remember that. No.
Oh my God, it was Jackass before Jackass existed. And these guys would go on stage and lift cinder blocks with a chain tied to their ball sack and shit like that. I mean, they had all kinds of sideshow circus acts, and you paid $20 to go watch it. It was unbelievable.
Hey, Matt, speaking of chains, talk to your ball sack. This on my email today from the CME. The CME exchange fee increase February 1st. Couple of things we noticed when we went over this. First of all, the micros are just kicking ass, right? They're doing so much micro business, it's ridiculous. And they're raising it from 30 cents a contract to 35 cents a contract. I'm not great at math. You're much better at math than me, but 5 cents on 30 cents, it seems like a fairly large increase, Matt.
It's inflation, 20% to turn on those machines.
20% kick in their most productive new release in decades. Yeah. But across the board, they're raising across the board. Let's go to the price discovery on CME, Matt.
I think I'll stick with the crude futures because the micros are really killing me.
Yeah, crude, it's 5 cents on $1.50. It's much less of a percentage increase as you move down on that curve.
Yeah.
Anyway,
CME, yeah.
it should be good news
Yeah.
for the CME.
It needs some good news. It's just been languishing here really since last fall when it fell out of bed. And but it's not. Again, this is a long-term chart going back to this is the COVID low, so we're below where we were when COVID started. So apparently, there's less. That was $2.25 when COVID hit. So we're down $50 or around 20%. So I guess they figure this 20% raise in the micros will get them back to the COVID levels.
I mean, that looks fairly friendly. I wouldn't mind owning that if I was a stock owner, a stock picker. I mean, you would think it
pays 2.3%, 63 billion market cap. Considerably off the high. Yeah, as long as 160 holds, it looks okay to me. As long as 160, you got these lows down here. You got this low 150 and this low 130. So it just depends on your risk appetite. But 160 looks like a hard stop for me. But
right on. And it's a pretty easy business model, right?
Yep.
The more volume they do, the more money they make.
Right.
And I got to think going forward that this yield curve trading, where there's just giant volume, I don't see how that goes away anytime soon. To be sure.
Yeah, and speaking of crude, let's just take a look at that while we were bringing it up, because it continues to be one of the stronger commodities out there lately. And again, remember, this was trading 72 the beginning of the year, and that was the recent low. And we've taken out this week, and we talked about this earlier. We traded up to almost 83, sitting here at 81.38 today, up after the pullback. That pullback on the PPI Wednesday was a good buy opportunity, is all it was. And then we zoomed back up here. So we either need to get to a new high here, or maybe this is the end of the run. But to me, it looks like we want higher. Again, we took out these highs here, and then they couldn't break it down here, which means probably going higher. And again, I think you talked a little bit about what's going on in China. Traffic is
you on the pregame, you were talking about our government's work with manipulating weather. And that led me to think about the satellite imagery that they can take, particularly in cities in China. And I read a thread recently that finally 2 years plus of COVID lockdowns in China, the traffic patterns in cities that they can see how many cars are on the road, is getting back to pre-COVID levels in China. You think about 1.4 billion people back in their cars moving around the country, in and out of cities. Listen, there was the Oxford Union chat the other day by the guy that challenged the Oxford woke students that, the UK could, slip into the ocean and it's not going to make a difference because you're 2% of the emissions of the climate, whatever. And China's the giant driver of it, China and India. So think whatever you want, but that type of demand coming back online, I'm not sure how that goes unnoticed.
By the way, the masses today are finding out what we've known for 5 years, 6 years, that Hunter and Joe were, trying to do a deal with the Chinese on natural gas. Now they get to see the email. You and I have already seen it, but nothing will happen. But just throwing it up there. Now that natural gas prices have collapsed, that's all Joe will talk about.
Right? That's an interesting market, Matt, because we've talked about it a lot, and we were both thinking that it was this polar vortex was going to supply us with a giant rally that never really materialized. And I've been thinking about it that for sure you
can't really trade weather reports. They're pretty.
And you have to really defer to the chart and the long-term chart over everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And the good news is we had our lines in the sand on where it should hold as it built that storyline. And the other thing I think too that happens, and you hear this a lot, the trade gets crowded. Like there's so much information out there and so many people talking it, the trade gets crowded. Mm-hmm. And when there's too many people with weak hands jumping into a trade,
and again, especially on the retail side, they're all trying to catch the bottom. And they all think that just because Heinrich or you said one day, "Hey, I'm getting long," but I also said I'm getting out. So Again, I'm not involved again. This seems to me it's kind of died, and soon the retail will be completely flushed out, but it might be down here at 280. I'm really interested.
Yeah.
I might be interested in buying down at that level now, like, because we're just falling. It's free falling, just free balling all the way down. We traded all the way down to 310 today.
I didn't even know that the theme for today's episode was going to be nutsacks and balls.
Well,
free balling.
Yeah.
Free balling. Didn't Petty write a song called that, Free Balling?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, we could do that, or we could talk about the HAARP vagina clouds that are showing up in Turkey this morning. If you want to talk about
Is that a hypersonic jet that flew through the middle of it that caused that, or do they know?
Yeah, I don't know why that's there, but Turkish power is obviously showing the power. And then there's like your show, The Crown. The actress Gillian Anderson said it looked like a human vagina. I sent it to a female friend of mine. She said it looks like a cinnamon roll. I said
it does. I'm going more out long plex trader cinnamon roll, because the guy's got that down pat. Matt, let's talk NFL. The market again, the US indices just chopping around.
They're not chopping around, they're straight up today. They're just one way again. It's
generally, we're still in this range, and nothing will happen.
Nothing's happening. It looks like by the end, the bonds got crushed again. They're down $2 today. Again, 146 back to 142. We talked about that level. So that continues to, again, bonds and equities are not synced in. That, to me, that's the bigger story here. Something is happening. Something is going on, and it has, and we don't know what that is still. I think that's the key point. So you have to be alerted to that. I think, equities possibly are going to see a turn down here. But again, I've been saying that, like, the first quarter, we're almost through January, which is a holiday month, and really, we're up a little bit, but not much has happened. It's been a pretty quiet start to the year, yet there's a lot of information coming at us from, Ukraine. That seems to be falling apart hard. I have a feeling, why hasn't Zelensky been killed at this point? And the guy, seems to be transported.
Well,
to
he said today, if I do get killed, things are going to escalate quickly.
The comedy.
I don't know, Matt. You know what I did today? I bought the 41 calls and I bought the 38 puts in the spoos. That's my vacation trade. I bought it for 2 weeks. What's your time frame? February 4th. So 2 weeks, and we'll see.
So you're strangling the market, and you think that we're going to get outside of 41 or 38.
That's my bet. Yes, yeah. That's my vacation bet.
Just explain it to people what your thoughts are.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, we ain't staying here, and if we do, the decay isn't that terrible, and it's a little vacation lottery ticket that you don't have to really pay attention to.
All right.
So that's what I
did. NFL this weekend, we got 2 games tomorrow and 2 games Sunday. These are East or West Coast start times: 1:30, 5:15 tomorrow, 12 and 3:30 on Sunday.
There's only one game that jumps out at me, man.
None of these, the Bengals Bills looks like a good. The 2 games Sunday are the good games for sure. I think that the potential. I think the Chiefs just demolish. They're 9-point favorites. It's at KC. Eagles Giants. I don't really care. I mean,
here's the key. That's my game. That's the only game I have a very strong feeling on.
The Philly Giants.
Yeah, because Kramer is such a giant Philly fan.
You think the Giants are going to win?
Yes, they're going to demolish them. That's my anti-Kramer.
I guess Jalen Hurts is playing. That much we know.
He's playing, but he's playing Hurts. No.
Oh, funny.
Yeah, you got to get up early today, dude.
What about the Bills Bengals? Buffalo's only favored 5.5.
I got to tell you something. The Bengals, after the first half last week, that team all of a sudden to me seems like it's a team of destiny. I mean, they played the worst half a team could play, and they're still in it. He cannot possibly play that bad again. I mean, it's an impossibility. That's
Right.
my thought. That surviving that debacle in the NFL, that team's destined to win it all now. The Bengals.
The Bills.
The
The
Bengals. The
Oh.
Bengals. Yeah.
Well, why not? And I think this 49ers Cowboys is a sucker line because of Cowboys fans. There's so many of them, they're like the Yankees fans, right? They're everywhere. And they haven't won since what, 1992 or 1995. So they're all
they
piling
haven't
on.
won since 40 pounds ago for me.
Well, but my point is, I think this is not the 80s Cowboys still. And Dak Prescott is no Brock Purdy. And Brock Purdy's at home. And I'm going to say take the 49ers to go double-digit win over the Cowboys.
I like that.
Yep.
Man, you want to tease it the other way and get the odds. Can you do that?
Sure. I'd take San Francisco +2. Why not?
The tease. Remember the teasers were like that was the thing to hook you before was the teaser. Let me tease
the 6, the ±6.
Yeah, exactly. Let me tease it. I'm going to tease it. Like you're a genius now. All of a sudden you're teasing. Show me teasers that live, out on the Cape. Okay, there's
So you got the Saturday games are kind of the blow-offs. They'll end up probably being closer, and then I think the Sunday games look close, and they'll be the blowouts. That's kind of how that's kind of how these things work, right? I don't know, but let's talk a little bit about. Well, we talked about crude already, but any thoughts on anything else before you head off to?
Yeah, I gotta share this, Matt, because this was as good as it gets. This is how you push back. Again, we talk about it all the time that sarcasm and comedy wins the day. Here's my student at Laurier University wearing his mask. He's legit. He's got a nice piece of Manja approved romaine lettuce, and it's just as effective as anything else in that shot.
Is that somewhere in Canada?
Yes.
Where is the Wilfrid Laurier University?
I imagine it's in Toronto, but I have no idea. I'm guessing.
And there's still
it's a giant hall, by the way. How do you like to be graded on a curve in that?
I was gonna say that looks like a big university. Yet I don't know. What are they studying? What are they studying at Wilfrid Laurier?
And the other thing that was great, Matt, was the Microsoft team over there in Davos. Gets a private performance by Sting, 50 or so people, and then the next day they lay off 10,000 people. Goodbye.
That's the way it goes, right?
Don't stand so close to me.
Google. They dropped 12,000. They dropped 12,000 of their finest engineers because they still couldn't figure out something with the YouTube software. Maybe they should just give it to Elon and let him
figure it out. And that's from Sky News, Matt. Sky News, a cold snap.
They could not get the loop button right after 10 years. So, maybe they should just fire him. That's probably what they did.
Be aware, Matt. Cold snap causes strokes and heart attacks. Doctors warn.
Right.
The latest of, oh my God, don't go outside because it's cold.
Because weather is changing every day. How about Joe, getting all angry in the press yesterday, talking about the documents, and then he said Americans don't care about that. All they care about is climate change. I was like, oh, okay. I could care less. Weather's always changing. That's all you have to talk about, Joe, is the weather. We're pretty bored.
All right. I think that's it, Matt. Wish me luck. Luck.
You need no luck. I just hope, I hope there's a couple pilots, not one.
Oh, for sure. It's Alaska, Matt. They're all jabbed, but there'll be 3 or 4 of them, and probably a couple flying jump seat. Because if you're a pilot and you get to fly jump seats, why wouldn't you go to Hawaii?
Right.
Exactly. I have no worries about that. Here's my biggest worry is fucking landing in Seattle to make the connector, because it can be fogged in. I mean, in my lifetime, Seattle by far is the worst I've ever flown into.
I think San Francisco's worse, but
I flew last year and it took us 6 landing attempts.
Yeah.
To get in 6 times, 6 pullouts at the end. Well, Six times.
Did she still get pregnant after those 6 pull-outs?
Exactly. Well, yeah. Yeah. All right. Try LaGuardia. LaGuardia, you end up in the ocean too, right? Or in the bay. That's no fun either. No bueno.
You end up in a Tom Hanks movie.
All right, listen, visit us at marketfellows.io. Please share, retweet. Go to Amazon.com and buy some Shrimp Mojo. And that's it. Have a great week. I will see you in a week, Matt. Thank you very much. Thank you, Lee. Peace out.
Thank you, Bobby, and have a peaceful, easy feeling over there for the next 10 days.
Right.